"Does it hurt?" Noah asks. "No, not really," Grandpa replies. "I mean, on the inside. Does it hurt on the inside?" "It hurts less and less. That's one good thing about forgetting things. You forget the things that hurt too." What does it feel like? Like constantly searching for something in your pockets. First you lose the small things, and then it's the big ones. It starts with the keys and ends with people. That's from Frederick Bachman's little novel, And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. I went back home to visit my family in Kansas. It was in the mid-2000s, 4, 5, 6. I don't really recall the exact year that it was. But what I do remember about that specific visit was that after walking the 80 yards that it was from my childhood home over to my grandma and grandpa's house, I went into the garage like I normally did, and the back door, and as I walked through, I shouted, "Knock, knock," just to announce my arrival. And as I made my way through the office and down the hallway into the kitchen, I saw sticky notes everywhere on the cabinet doors and drawers. Now, each sticky note labeling what happened to be behind that door, the contents of that cabinet or drawer. And I knew that my grandma had began forgetting things now and again, but who doesn't? I mean, how many times do I walk into a room in the day and go, "Why did I come in here again?" But those sticky notes, what I realized as they were clinging to those drawers and those doors was that my grandma was trying to cling to her own memory. And it was a battle that she slowly lost for over a decade and a half, as the dementia surely but slowly buried her memories inside a hidden vault that she could no longer access. And day by day, month by month, year by year, her mind diminished. I was fortunate, though, that the summer before she died, which she died on Christmas Day, a gift really for all of us, I wheeled her into the activity room in the care center that she was living, and I saw a piano there, so I found this Methodist hymnal on the shelf, and I hadn't played piano in a long time, but I kind of plunked my way through Amazing Grace, singing it for her. And as I squatted down, her in her wheelchair, and I looked into her eyes, and one last time I reminded her who I was. And I told her, "I love you." But as I said it, I knew that I was saying it to, yes, my grandma who was there, but yet I truly knew she was already gone. Aging, illness, mental health challenges, addictions. And these are a small sample of all the forces that can quietly or violently diminish a person's life, stealing away their vitality and the potential that they once held. And these forces, whether gradual or sudden, are often met with a mix of resignation, of grief, frustration. Grief for the loss of what was once vibrant. The frustration of the unfairness of the changes that so often come uninvited. Aging, it's often that first marker of our decline. The strength and flexibility of youth giving way to creaking joints. Yes, there's beauty in aging, but also undeniable sadness as we become increasingly aware of our own limitations, the things that we took for granted, climbing stairs, running, simply bending over to pick something up, they become more difficult. The sharpness of our minds The ability to take a task on with ease, it starts to dull. And leaving behind this sense of dependency that wasn't there since our youth. Illness too is a cruel thief. It can strike unexpectedly, robbing the body of its strength and vitality. The chronic diseases, they wear away at the fabric of a person's life, each day an ongoing battle, often against something that's invisible, but it's unyielding. And the body no longer cooperates. The mind grows weary, a sense of isolation and loneliness can take root, and that fear that we often have of becoming a burden to others, a burden to our loved ones. It can become overwhelming. Depression, anxiety, other mental health conditions. They don't always show on the outside, but on the inside, they deeply impact how a person experiences the world around themselves. Their mind becomes this battleground, a battle that can lead to a sense of disconnection from others, especially when it's difficult for those around you to understand the weight that you carry. Addictions might provide a momentary relief, but ultimately it's self-destructive behavior, one that erodes the body and the mind. It can create a cycle of temporary highs, but it's often followed by devastating lows, leading into a life that's fragmented, that's unpredictable. And the pursuit of that escape becomes more important than the personal connections, dreams, or goals. Aging, illness, mental health conditions, addiction, like I said, these are just a small sample of the forces in this world that diminish our lives. And yet our laments around these forces, they challenge us to confront the temporality of life. And in doing so, they encourage us to seek a deeper meaning in our lives, in our existence. Yes, while these forces and others do diminish our lives in certain ways, they also offer us an opportunity to reflect on what truly matters. Our connection with others. The experiences in our lives that shaped us. And the fleeting beauty of this human journey. In lamenting these changes, we also come to a deeper appreciation of the fragility and the preciousness of life. And through our vulnerabilities, we find strength to live with more purpose and with more grace in our lives. Though we won't be offering our laments together tonight, and perhaps you can bring it with you next week, lifting up those laments in your lives, the forces that have diminished yours or a loved one's, to release them into God's entrusting, and to release them and find healing and wholeness. Amen.